Welcome back to Coffee Cup Stories with Jack. Today I got a fun one. This is about my time at Aberdeen Proving Ground in Maryland. I love this one because if you find yourself in the course of your career doing something that you dreamed about as a child, you know that either you're the garbage man or you have a dream career. Well, when I was a kid in fourth, fifth, sixth grade, we would go to the library and there was a book about Aberdeen Proving Ground and all the cool things they did there. Now, Aberdeen Proving Ground, among other things, is a testing ground where they take weapons, where they take tanks, where they take whatever from the army and they go test it there to see if it'll work. Well, at the time, this was in the 90s again, I was working on the Army Tactical Missile System and I was working on the extended range version. Now, we did this very, very high tech thing to extend the range. See, the Army TACMS missile had about 1,000 of these little bomblets in it. And in just an astonishing leap of intelligence and technology, we took about 700 of them out. And if turns out that if the missile is a lot lighter, it'll fly farther. That's where you get the extended range from. Anyway, in order to be able to actually field and use a weapon in the United States military, you have to prove to the Test and Evaluation Command that it will actually work. And that's a totally valid and very reasonable thing to have to prove. Well, I was the effectiveness analyst. I was in charge of the effectiveness analysis for this system. I was working at Nichols Research at the time. And so we were going to these meetings with these test and evaluation people, and they were telling us that if you take all these bombs out, then it's not going to be effective enough, it's not going to work. And one of the things that you have to do is that you get these very specific targets that you're supposed to attack, and you're supposed to prove that you'll be effective against these particular targets. Well, one of the things that we were supposed to shoot was these ammunition dumps. So we didn't feel like it was too big of a stretch of imagination to say that if you drop, 250, 300 of these little grenades in there into an ammunition dump, that things will blow up and burn and bad things will happen to that ammunition dump. Well, Test and Evaluation Command took this astonishing position that, nope, it's not going to burn, won't blow that stuff up. I mean, you can't even smoke in an ammunition dump because of the risk of fire. But no, that's not going to do anything. So we went out to Aberdeen Proving Ground and we got a whole bunch of old Russian, Soviet 152 millimeter howitzer ammunition. And we would put one bomblet out on it, near it, around it, explode, see what happened. And you will be shocked to learn that if a grenade explodes near a bunch of ammunition propellant, that it burns and sometimes it burns spectacularly. And one of our test shots, this happened. I mean, usually these things burned, but this one, we put a hot fragment right into it in a very special spot, and that propellant cooked off really hot, blew up the shell, and I found this, it ripped this out of the shell, and I found this sticking up in the ground about 100 yards away. We felt like we proved our case. How about that? So it was an awful lot of fun. And here I am at Aberdeen Proving Ground doing testing just like I dreamed of when I was in the 5th grade.